Pokemon Sword and Shield are less than a week away at the time of recording this, and as many of you can imagine, I'm way too excited to talk about literally anything else in this video. That said, I refuse to spoil for myself or any of you any of the information that was leaked onto the internet. So today we're going to talk about something that really nobody knows a whole lot about: Pokemon Home. Before we start to talk about anything though, did you know that fanatixfour has a Discord server, and the people that are active members within that helped with making this very video that you're watching right now? If you would like to be able to help out with creating future videos and also just hanging out with fellow Nintendo fans, click the link in the description to join in. Pokemon Company hasn't shared many specifics on Pokemon Home so far. We only really know a vague release date being early 2020, as well as some intended functions that themselves were left pretty ambiguous. For instance, we know Pokemon Home will share features with past Pokemon services like Pokemon Bank and Pokemon Global Link, but we don't know to what extent. We know what games are compatible with it and which among those can transfer to and from Pokemon Home at launch, and we know that it will be accessible on smartphones and Nintendo Switch. That's about it in regards to information that's been officially confirmed by Pokemon Company. And as you can see, there's still a lot that we don't know just yet, but that's where the fun part comes in. Let's speculate. What are features that we want to see them add? For the purposes of this task, I'm going to break down the features that they could feasibly add into three distinct categories: collecting, trading, and battling. Starting with the most controversial of those categories, collecting. It's been said in every way imaginable, so I won't belabor the point here, but it's no secret that many collectors feel slighted by the cuts made to Pokemon Sword and Shield's Pokedex. I get it, you want to take the Pokemon you caught in your previous journeys along for the ride in future games, but the compromise here is that you can rest assured that you can move them forward even if they're not specifically compatible with Sword or Shield or any other future Pokemon games, and that's thanks to Pokemon Home. The question is though, how will they add on to what was available in Pokemon Bank to make the switch to Pokemon Home worthwhile, and possibly even the cuts to Pokemon Sword and Shield's Pokedex less of a sting? I have a few possible ideas for this, as well as some contributed by active community member Grimhane. First and foremost, they need to axe the box limit, because the purpose of storing every Pokemon you've ever caught across every game is defeated when you cap the number that can be stored, no matter how large that limit is. Secondly, we need better sorting options, and that should include pre-established sorting categories like by name for quick, straightforward access to specific Pokemon, typing, which could be useful for team building, evolution stages to sift through evolutionary lines you haven't completed in your Pokedex yet. You should be able to filter down to whether or not a Pokemon is shiny, the amount of perfect IVs, whether it's EV trained or not, things like that. Of course, that means that I also think EVs and IVs should be more visible in Pokemon Home as well. Maybe even have short blurbs about what these stats mean in the UI. And in addition to those pre-established categories, players should be able to create their own playlists or folders of sort to sort their Pokemon in unconventional ways that have an if this then that sort of function to it. I think you should both be able to name and rename non-traded Pokemon in Pokemon Home rather than having to transfer them to a game first. Next up, I'd like it if there was some way to interact with Pokemon stored in Home, even if it's nothing close to the Pokemon Camp feature in Pokemon Sword and Shield, but rather use simplified sprites and make this interaction relatively simple so modeling and animation wouldn't become a new problem. Or even better than that, they could always outsource this particular feature to the team behind Pokemon Ranch on WiiWare, a game that another Discord member, Bob SB129, or as many of you may know him as from the podcast, GPempyo1, reminded me of. Although I'm sure something like that would contribute to the price, but we'll get to that in a bit. Lastly, for collection specific features, and in a way firstly for trading features I want to be implemented, is the ability to gift Pokemon. We can sort of kinda do this in the current Pokemon games by just telling the recipient to catch a burner Pokemon of sorts so they can receive the Pokemon we want to give them, but there's no real reason we shouldn't be able to just give a Pokemon to a friend without them needing to go through that formality. Also, we think there should be a way to walk with Pokemon using your smartphone smartphone sensors like Pokemon Go to train Pokemon through walking. This would make it possible to have competent Pokemon without having to grind all of them in game. Some people may scoff at that, but I think there's no shame in improving your Pokemon by being active in real life. As for many, it could be even more rewarding than grinding for them to improve them in game. But I think this could be more than just translating the process of training Pokemon as it exists already and improving on that process, because as many hardcore Pokemon fans will tell you, the process ain't currently all that great. I think the most important thing is to make trading smarter. Currently, players can list Pokemon for trading, but the systems that allow for that aren't very smart. At bare minimum, my expectation is for this system to be aware of the Pokemon that are possible in game. There's no reason listings for level 5 Zamazenta should be possible because that Pokemon isn't possible in Sword or Shield. On the other end of that, I think we should be able to search for Pokemon that know specific moves. If I want to trade for a Grookey with an egg move or nature or ability, that should be easy to do using information the game has access to. At the end of the day, that wouldn't be very hard since it's essentially just a keyword search. In addition to that, I think listings should allow for players to automate the process and cast wider nets than what's currently possible. I think they should allow players to tag boxes full of Pokemon that they're willing to mass trade, meaning that whenever I'm looking for a Pokemon to trade, I should be able to list all of the Pokemon that I'm willing to give away in favor for it. This way, you increase your chances of being able to get that Pokemon without having to do all the guesswork of what everybody wants in exchange for the one you're looking for. If I'm looking for a Charizard with Dragon Dance, I should be able to list multiple Pokemon I'm willing to trade in exchange for that. Another version of this would be mass trading Pokemon boxes, say boxes full of bred Pokemon, in exchange for a list of desired Pokemon, akin to Wonder Trading but more hands-off. It's been confirmed that Wonder Trading will be possible to do in the background while playing Pokemon Sword and Shield, so I think it's possible to add that to Pokemon Home and expand on it by allowing players to do it in bulk. And I wouldn't be shocked to see something like this implemented. It would make trading less tedious and it would be beneficial to everyone involved because they'd be clearing up duplicates and other unwanted Pokemon in exchange for Pokemon they don't have, with the added benefit of them likely being more viable than if they acquired them in some other way in their own game. On another side of the coin, I should be able to list trades that aren't accessible to everyone. What I mean by that is, say for example, I want to trade a Pokemon and make it available specifically to fanatixfour community members. I think you should be able to put a secret code and/or password to access the listing so people can't snipe a listing you intended for a specific pool of people like a club, friend group, or in our case, a community. And now it's time to transition into uncharted territory for Pokemon Home, battling. And what I mean by that is, we know that battle rankings and calendar events will be confirmed for the service, but we don't know whether or not we'll be able to battle within Home itself. I think it could be a major win for them if they choose to implement it, because the national dex thing will be even less of an issue because we'll be able to use all of our Pokemon in battles anyway. I think Pokemon Home could serve to be a battle simulator akin to Pokemon Showdown. This will accomplish a few things that I think will make a lot of fans happy. First and foremost, it'll give us something to do with the Pokemon that aren't compatible with Sword and Shield, and it wouldn't just be a minigame, you would still be able to battle with them. I think it would be unrealistic to expect this to look like Gen 8 battles, but it could be possible to see them use pixel art for the battle UI through Pokemon Home, something that some people may not be thrilled about, but there for sure is an audience for it as well. In addition to that though, it should be possible to use it like Pokemon Stadium, where you can rent Pokemon for battles both against AI and friends in multiple battle formats. This could also be used as a path to educating players on how to create a viable team by explaining the choices made with rule sets and Pokemon EVs as well as IVs in these pre-trained rentable Pokemon, as well as how to accomplish all of that in-game through tools in Sword and Shield. On the subject of Pokemon Stadium, I also think it would be a smart idea to include some sort of mini games into this package. Me and fellow fanatixfour host Parker have discussed on several occasions how we want them to do a new Pokemon Stadium sort of situation, and with mini games, Pokemon Home could very well become exactly that. Imagine being able to play the Stadium mini games with your own Pokemon, or even past mini games from other mainline games like Pokemon contests, Pokathlons, and other mini games. Also, I'd love for for there to be ways to increase a Pokemon's affection through these mini games, since many of them won't be compatible with the current solution for this, Pokemon Camp. Being able to engage with your Pokemon on some level outside of just storing, trading, or even potentially battling them, I feel is pretty important, since at that point, the exclusion from Pokemon Sword and Shield would only have an aesthetic impact. Judging by the responses on our Discord, the most important thing for Pokemon Company to get right with Pokemon Home is its price. And that's for good reason. Many people think that since Pokemon Sword and Shield require the use of Nintendo Switch Online, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to require an additional fee to store our Pokemon in Pokemon Home. You'll still be able to do most of the same things, just not with the same graphical style, which I feel is a fair compromise. That said, assuming Pokemon Home will be more involved than Pokemon Bank was, it'll probably require some sort of cost. Here's what I propose. I think a yearly subscription cost of about $10 is reasonable, but that'll come with some conditions that Nintendo Switch Online subscribers may like. I think NSO subscribers should, best case scenario, have free access to Pokemon Home. Worst case scenario, we should get a deep discount on that $10 yearly cost. Lastly, I think both Switch Online subscribers and non-Switch Online subscribers should be able to opt out of the gameplay features in favor for only subscribing to Pokemon Home for the storage aspect for a cheaper price, or in the case of NSO subs, for free, since the upfront cost is undoubtedly much lower for pre-established features like that. But those are my thoughts. What do you think? What's your opinion on the current Pokemon Home info? What do you hope to see announced for the service in the future? Let me know all of that in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, as I'm guessing you did for making it all the way to the end of it, be sure to click the like button and share the video with a friend that you also think may enjoy it. And most importantly, don't forget to ring the bell and subscribe for new videos like this every Tuesday and Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. New podcasts every Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, different channel, linked in the end card. Also, if you didn't know, we're still running that Pokemon giveaway. Enter by clicking the link below. Okay, that's it for me. See you next week.